So we're about to get to Champs-Élysées. Once we get there, we're going to take a right, and the block up will be the Louis Vuitton flagship store. Now, if you haven't seen it in the videos yet, or you happen to miss it, this place is huge. Huge. And there's always a line waiting to get in because they control the amount of people that can come in and out. Now, I know I mispronounce a lot of stuff. I want to give you a reason why. Well, two reasons why. One, I'm American and not French. Two, I've lost a good part of my hearing from being in the army, so I can't pick up certain pronunciations. So I try to look at how it's spelled out and try and figure out the adjustments for the language. So please, if you're getting annoyed by me mispronouncing stuff, please give me a little bit of grace. It was a blast, a lot of blasts, gunshots, made me lose my hearing. So that's why. It's not for a lack of me trying to understand or anything like that. Because I've had some people, especially locals, start getting all my comments complaining about how I pronounce stuff. So that's why I have difficulty pronouncing some stuff sometimes. So it opens at 10. It closes at 8. It's about 8:30 right now. No lie. But I'm telling you, if you don't get here early, you're going to be in a long line. You got to trust me on that. I've been here twice, and it's never failed. Every time I've come by here when it's open, been a long line. When we were at the Army Museum, he's the one let me get a cannon. Wonder if she'll let me get one of those. Put in the comments, tell her to let me have one. Hook a brother up. Well, I came to see the White House of Paris, the Palais d'Élysée, but I can't see anything. It's all barricaded off, and all you can see is the French flag. So if you're planning on making the trip out of here, probably not worth your time, because it took me about 20 minutes to walk here from the Louis Vuitton store. I could have spent that 20 minutes doing something else. So here's the view of the palace. Looks like it's the gate to the gardens that come to Champs-Élysées, which is right over there. So I'm right by the Luxor obelisk, and right diagonal to it, it looks like a statue of the queen, is the U.S. Embassy. So Trocadero is that way. We're going to keep going that way, but we're going to hit that obelisk real quick though. Let me give you a rundown of where things are at. So over there is the U.S. Embassy. And then over here, you've got the Eiffel Tower. You got the obelisk, the Grand Assemblies. Behind that, or behind the National Assemblies, is the dome for the church at the Palace of the Invalids. And then if you go through that gate right there, it'll take you all the way to the Louvre. I doubt you can see it, but from here, if you go down that way, you're going to get to the Arc de Triomphe. You can see a little sliver of it down the street. But actually, if you walk in front of the obelisk, you can see the entire arch right down the street. So if you have a long telescopic photo lens and you want a nice long shot of the arch, this would be your spot for that. Our next stop is Sainte Marie Madeleine. Now this place has a unique history. It was supposed to be a church, and it got started under Louis XV. However, when the Revolutionary War started, construction stopped. It picked back up after the French Revolution by Napoleon, and Napoleon wanted to be used as a temple of glory to his grand army. So there's 52 Corinthian columns there. Well, after the fall of Napoleon, Louis XVIII was like, nah, we're not doing that. So they enclosed it and turned it into a Roman Catholic church. Now it's a church dedicated to Mary Magdalene, but as you can see, it doesn't look like a typical church. It looks more like something you'd see in Rome or maybe even Greece because of the Corinthian columns. So now you know the history. So if you wonder what that building is, and you're like, that doesn't look like a church, now you know why. Now we're in the gardens that are in between the Luxor obelisk and the Louvre. And what you're seeing is the Fête des Tuileries. It is France's festival. It goes from June to August. And so if you've seen a bunch of tents in the background of some of my shots, especially over by the Eiffel Tower, that's what this is. It dates back centuries, but then it eventually stopped and it got restarted back in 1993. So if you see the Ferris wheel, there's a bunch of vendors here, bumper cars, all kinds of stuff out here. So if you see it, if you're here from June to August, it's the Fête des Tuileries. Now, just to acquaint you to where we're at location-wise, we're in the park. In front of me is the Louvre. I can see the pyramids from here. Behind me, go through that garden. It'll get you to the square with the fountains and the obelisk from Luxor. Keep going straight. Takes you to Champs-Élysées. And keep going. It'll take you to the Arc de Triomphe. Now, to my left is where I just came from. That is the Place Vendôme. And we are on our way to the oldest bridge in Paris. Can't wait to see it. So we're heading over to like the Notre Dame area. So we got about 3/4 of a mile to go to get over there. But everything's relatively close. Everything's like a 20-minute walk here, a 20-minute walk there. So my wife gets mad at me because I keep saying it's only 20 minutes. It's only a 1/4 mile. And she gets bent about it because she's like, you're in the army. You're used to walking. No, I just do what I need to do. Nobody gets used to walking forever. Welcome to On Neuf. This is the oldest bridge in Paris. So it is over 400 years old. It was commissioned by King Henry III in 1578 to replace unsafe medieval wooden bridges. The construction spanned the reigns of Henry III, Henry IV, Louis XIII, and was completed in 1607 under King Henry IV. So it started in 1578. 29 years later, it finished. So unlike earlier Paris bridges, which had houses and shops built on them, Henry IV wanted the Pont Neuf to be an open and wide bridge, making it safer and more practical. If you want to go down to the bottom over here, there's stairs right here behind the statue. And there's a little tunnel that comes underneath the bridge and it takes you to the other side. Our next stop today is going to be Sainte-Chapelle, which is French for Holy Chapel. It was constructed by King Louis IX. You may have heard of him. He's got a city in the United States named after him. aka Saint Louis or Louis. He built it to preserve and protect Christian artifacts. In the 1200s, he purchased the crown of thorns from the King of Constantinople and had it here as the only medieval church of that had something like that. So it made it one of Europe's most pilgrimaged chapels. So during the French Revolution, though, the chapel got ransacked, and so they moved it over to Notre Dame, which is, so here's the chapel, and Notre Dame is right there. Well, during the fire of Notre Dame, it was taken to the treasury at the Louvre. It's staying there ever since. I don't know when they're going to move it back to the Notre Dame. Maybe when it's done with construction, maybe it'll just stay at the Louvre for forever. But they do have the crown of thorns here. Now, if you plan on visiting Notre Dame, the chapel and concierge is right here. Notre Dame's right there. So it's like a 5-minute walk, if that, to get to Notre Dame. So you can do those 3 things probably within an hour. It's 10:35 and the line is going around that way. So you definitely don't want to be here without a ticket early in the morning. It's insane. Like, people are just like coming there by the scores. So definitely don't come here in the morning without a ticket. Mon ami. So if you're visiting Notre Dame, or you're at Saint Chapelle or the concierge and you need to use the restroom, right there are some toilets. At the end, it's for the guys. It's just like Amsterdam. If you know, you know. And then the ladies are at the other end, so you have a little bit nicer things. So, but there you go. Right behind me is one of the oldest libraries in France, or in Paris. It has over 2 million documents, books, things like that in it. It's right across from the Pantheon, which is right here. And there is a cool church that I'm going to flip around and see if I can get, but the sun is in the worst position ever. But it's for the patron Saint Genevieve. Let's see if we can make this work. So I stopped to get some gelato. Check this out. So this is a fountain of Saint Sulpice. It is in front of, guess what? Saint Sulpice. It's a pretty cool looking church. So 3 September 1783 in the Hotel de York, Benjamin Franklin, John Jay, John Adams, and representatives of England met here at this hotel to sign the peace accords for the American Revolution. It is now a different hotel, but there's a little plaque right on the wall right over there that indicates exactly what happened. That's pretty cool. You know, I knew we ended the war and everything. I just never really thought about or learned where the paperwork was finalized at. So now you know, if you didn't know. So earlier in the video, I told you I'd let you know what I did today and the past day and a half after that. So the 2.5 days that I have been here. So today, 12.7 miles from 6:45 in the morning to 1:31 in the afternoon. Yesterday, 24,536 steps for 9.9 miles. So we're at what, 22 miles, and then 7.9 the day before. So 30 miles in 2.5 days walking around Paris. And that's including doing the hop on, hop off yesterday. So that's probably why I was only down to 19,000 steps. But if you plan on doing some stuff here in Paris, make sure you bring some comfortable shoes. Maybe get one of those rent-a-bikes. It's hard for me to do a rent-a-bike. I'd be stopping every 5 seconds to talk or whatever. But you can do that. You can Uber. You can take a taxi. You can walk. The hop on, hop off. So those are your options. If you have any questions about Paris, let me know. I'll be glad to answer them.